Alright, welcome back everyone. RpMinecrafter here. Today I'm going to do a behind the scenes video of my TNT Labyrinth PvP edition map. Now, there's not too much redstone for this, but it's still a bit complicated, and I will try to explain as good as I can what's going on here. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you this spawn platform as I call it. Now whenever you enter this map, you'll get spawned here, you'll land on this pressure plate, and it will start a redstone signal, which will go all down here into these command blocks here. Now this command block sets everyone's game mode to 2, which is pretty much adventure mode, so that you can't break stuff. This one sets your spawn point. This one plays sound, the thunder sound. When a thunder strikes, this will be the sound of that, pretty much. And this one will teleport you. So let me demonstrate this. When I land on this, I will get teleported over here. And my game sounds are off, so you probably can't hear that thunder sound, unfortunately. But then we get teleported to this room here, and I think I already demonstrated this regeneration on and off, but pretty much when you flip this, it will set natural regeneration to false or true, as you can see. And here we just got the rules and the explanation and stuff. So where should we begin? Let's begin with the player detection system. When we hit this button here, this will send out a signal from this torch, which will send out a signal to the blue path and the pink path or the purple path, whatever. And this will sort of trigger this torch to go off and this one to go on, which means that this will send a signal over here and push this piston out so that the signal here can come through into this command block. Now if I hit the if I hit 3 players, sorry about that, bad internet connection, but if I hit 3 players inside there, this piston will get pushed, and if I hit 4 players, this piston will get pushed. So pretty much, as you can see here, this one teleports the nearest player, this one teleports the nearest player, and this one teleports the nearest player, so that it will actually in total teleport 4 players if I hit the 4 players button. And here I think, yeah, that is the last player, and this one sets the time to night so that the monsters can spawn over in the labyrinth over here. Alright. But we also see some other command blocks here. This one sets everyone's spawn point to the box in here, but I'll get back to that later. And this one gives everyone a sword. This one says starting game, and this one gives everyone 5 stakes. And yeah, that is pretty simple. Now let me demonstrate. When I hit this 3 players button, you can see this piston gets pushed out, and that means pretty much so that 3 players will now get teleported. Now if I hit this 4 players button, you can see this piston will get pushed out, so every 4 players will get teleported. Seems very simple. Now these blue ones resets the previous player detector thingies. It's a bit hard to explain, but now, since we have selected the 4 players, and we did that, let's say we did that by an accident, and we actually want to play 2 players. This blue signal here, this line sends out signal to reset the previous settings that we made. So this one here will reset the 3 players. If we selected 3 players, this will reset that pretty much. And this one will reset the 4 players. As you can see, this torch is on, which means that we have selected 4 players. So if I press the 2 players button, this torch will go off, and these 2 pistons here will retract. Let's press the button. These 2 pistons retracted, and this torch is off. So the blue signals is the resetters, if that's even a word. Resetters? I don't know. But these resets the previous settings that we made. And of course here, when we press the 4 players, this will send out a signal over here, which will send out all the pistons, so that we don't have to press 3 players first to get this piston out, and then 4 players to get this one out. When we press 4 players now, both of these pistons will push, as you can see there. Now let's go ahead and select 2 players again. Now what's happening when we press start? This will send out a signal here and go into these command blocks which you saw before, and these. And since we have 2 players, these signals from these 2, it will not send out signals to these 2, only this one. And this will go down here and all down here, which will retract this piston here. If we selected 3 players, these 2 pistons would retract, and if we selected 4 players, these 3 pistons would retract. And that means, sort of, if we choose 2 players, the first person to die will spawn in here, which will send out a signal first of all into here. But since this piston is retracted, the signal will not go through. So first of all, it here will set the nearest player's spawn point to here, which I'll come back to that room later. And it will also teleport the nearest player to over there. But what it will also do is send out a signal here to reset this one, which will push this piston back. So pretty much, if we only played 2 players, this piston will push before this signal will go through. And since if we're only 2 players, these pistons would already be like pushed out like that, so the signal will actually go through here, and that is what causes the game to end. Now, if we were 3 players, this will only push this one out, which means this one still needed to get pushed out. So what's happening here is this signal over here. Let me see. Yeah, this one here turns this torch off and this one on, which pushes this piston out, which means that next time a player lands on this one, it will send a signal through here, up here. It's a bit messy, I know, it's not too compact, I'm sorry about that. And this one will turn this torch off, which will push out this piston. And same with 4 players. When this piston is pushed out, if we were 4 players, the signal will go through here, push out this piston, and when the last player, the 3rd player, would die, it would send out a signal over here, turn off this torch, and push out this piston. It's a bit complicated, but I'm trying with the best of my abilities to explain this. Now, when the game ends, this command block will set the spawn point back into this area here, so that you can try the game again if you like. And this one says the game has ended, and this one clears everyone's inventory, which is necessary because you don't want to sort of cheat again when if you got like a stone sword, you can just play again and then you got your stone sword again. This one sets the time to 0, which I should probably change to set to peaceful, because this causes all the zombies to burn here in the labyrinth, and they will sort of drop their items when they burn, so that you can just go ahead and repick those items. So that's probably something I should change. The signal continues over here to reset these, what do you call them? It resets these torches so that these pistons will retract again, so you can start all over. And then the signal goes over here. By the way, this is just sort of a time thingy that makes turns the weather clear. Very old machine invented by Seth Bling. Very cool. It goes all over here, the signal, underneath the labyrinth. And then what it does here, it teleports everyone back into the room over there, but also says that the nearest player won, which is pretty much the only survivor left in the labyrinth. That is the nearest player. And I see a zombie just spawned, but it will die by fire. And this one adds the scoreboard, adds 1 to wins, as you can see in the scoreboard over here. The nearest player gets a win, pretty much. So thank you a lot for watching this first part of behind the scenes of TNT Labyrinth 2 PvP Edition. Next episode I will go more into the spawner system of the mobs and what happens when you die. So yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys later.